Hi, good morning, Glenn.
Good morning, Steph.
Merry Erasmus, day after. I mean, it's so interesting watching the coverage of it, Glenn, that I have said I'm enjoying every second of this humiliation because this is justice. This is what it looks like. This is in a country where no one is actually above the law, where, we are a country of laws, not men. And yet, it is at the same time hugely sad and humiliating for the United States of America that we're watching this for the fourth time, isn't it?
It is. But you know what I was heartened to see? You saw that big motorcade, all the federal protection he had.
Yeah.
And then once he got to the Fulton County jailhouse doors, the state authorities said, y'all feds can just leave your fancy blue lights outside. We got it from here.
Yeah.
And then a state process kicked in, Steph, the kind of state process that you and I and everybody else would be subjected to if we were charged with RICO under Georgia state law. And I was just glad to see somebody run this man through the normal process that we are all subject to for the first time. New York didn't do it, and the feds didn't do it when they arrested and booked Donald Trump. So I was happy to see that.
Yeah, exactly. I have to say it was a good day for justice because the other thing is, wow, Fani Willis called Cheseboros bluff.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because he obviously she actually called for even an earlier date in October. And I know some people on Twitter were like, oh, is she ready? And I know, your friend Joyce Vance said she wouldn't have done this if she wasn't ready. So maybe all of us that were Veruca assaulting for justice, the reason it took this long to charge is because she's ready to go, it looks like.
Yeah, the Cheseboro thing is important for a number of reasons. Cheseboro, who was the architect of the fake elector scheme designed to rob us of the full value of our vote, demanded a speedy trial. Fani Willis said, I got your speedy trial right here, October 23rd. And she also said, I'm ready to go against all 19 defendants on October 23rd. Now, Judge McAfee said, well, let's just start with Kenneth Cheseboro because he's the one thus far who has made a speedy trial demand. So he set that trial date, October 23rd, but only for Cheseboro. So I think we can conclude that Cheese stands alone at this point. But here's the thing, Steph. I want to know why he demanded a speedy trial. There are a couple of reasons. I've had defendants demand speedy trials. One, because they just hate living with felony charges over their heads. They want to get it over with. Two, they believe they have a viable defense and they want to get into court and prove it up. But I think there's something else going on here. I think they may have put him up as the sacrificial lamb. They said, look, Cheese, you go to trial first. We will sit in the courtroom and preview all of Fani Willis's evidence so we will be better prepared to go to trial when we go to trial second or third.
He's the sacrificial lamb. Yeah, you had tweeted what are the pros and cons of being the first co-defendant to go to trial in a large RICO conspiracy. I guess that you just kind of laid it out, that he's kind of walking in blind, right? But then he's, like as I say, sort of a sacrificial legal lamb, right?
Yeah, and think about it. And I've had this happen. We had a big RICO case where we had to split it up into 3 trials. Guess what? Trial 1, all of the defense attorneys who knew they'd be going to trial in batch 2 and batch 3 sat in court every minute of every day. They ordered every witness transcript, and then they used those transcripts to cross-examine the witnesses in the future. They said, you said it differently 6 months ago when you testified. Were you lying then, or are you lying now? That's an objectionable question, but you kind of get the picture. The future defendants are so much better prepared to go to trial if they can see the trial play out once before they ever have to sit at defense counsel table.
We have that soundbite. What is that from a movie? What you just quoted? I think it was. Are you lying now or are you lying then? It's echoing. Is it a monster movie? Maybe. Are you a complete and total liar? Chris will find it. Okay. Here's one analysis. I know Midas Touch saying he, tried to call Fani Willis's bluff. Big mistake. Cheseboro made a speedy trial demand. Blah blah blah. If he was trying to call Willis's bluff that she somehow wasn't prepared for trial, that was a bad move, a very bad move. Less than a day after the speedy trial, she said she's ready to go. So October 23rd, she had previously requested the trial for other co-defendants take place March 4th. But But they're saying she would probably be delighted to take any other criminal defendant to trial sooner. All this being said, what do you think's going to happen on the time frame for all this?
So I think if a couple of things. One, if other defendants demand their speedy trial, then Judge McAfee will say, that's great. We already have an October 23rd trial date, so let's pack in as many defendants as want a speedy trial as we can. So that's one thing that might happen. The other thing that might happen is once Cheseboro, now that Fani Willis has called his bluff, gets all of the discovery, what's he going to say? Oh, my goodness, there's so much here. I think I want to withdraw my request for a speedy trial and put my trial off in the future. So, this could break any number of ways unless it's an orchestration and Trump and company want the cheese to go first so they can preview the evidence.
Can I say Allison Gill won Twitter on his mugshot? She said, say cheese, bro. Yeah, we may get to hear this in his trial.
The question is, were you lying then? Are you lying now? Or are you not, in fact, a chronic and habitual liar?
Okay. I love dramatic courtroom. Is that how you, courtroom movies, is that why you became a lawyer? You want to be that guy?
Yeah.
It is fun. It's too much fun being able to try criminal cases. It was hard to walk away after 30 years.
Yeah.
So you also tweeted Trump's Mar-a-Lago IT director gets out from under a MAGA lawyer, gets a conflict-free lawyer, and immediately flips against Trump. You're quoted in a piece in Newsweek about this. Can you explain to us, Glenn, how, as lay people, maybe this is a dumb question, I don't understand why it's legal for someone to pay your lawyer's fees that you are testifying. If you could testify against or what, I mean, it just seems like clearly our pattern, whether it's Cassidy Hutchinson or this guy, if Trump pays your lawyer, you're going to say what Trump wants you to say, right? I mean,
it feels dirty and sleazy and ugly, but it's not illegal. Now, the reason we allow it is, for example, if you're an employee of a corporation and the corporation is being investigated, your employment contract might say, oh, as part of the benefits, we will provide a lawyer to you in the event the corporation is being investigated and you need a lawyer. I understand all that, but this is just straight up dirty when you have MAGA lawyers representing witnesses who could flip against Donald Trump and incriminate him, and they don't. Instead, they go into the grand jury and they lie to protect Donald Trump. But that's why Chief Judge Boasberg said no. He's getting conflict-free lawyer, the Mar-a-Lago IT director. And the minute he did, he retracted his lies. He told the truth, and he implicated them. This is Trump world crumbling.
Yeah, you were quoted as saying, God bless the Sixth Amendment's guarantee of a right to counsel, conflict-free counsel. And you said his decision to start singing like a bird indicates Trump's world is falling apart. I think the best thing in this article is that a Trump spokesman targeted you, which means they know who you are and they are very scared. A Trump spokesperson said Kirschner's, quote, a notorious trafficker of wild conspiracy theories and dubious legal analysis who's been shunned by the legal community at large. That's interesting because I see you on TV every 30 to 45 seconds. But how's that shunning going?
That's defamatory. Will I be suing anybody? Of course not, because I embrace the criticism. And you know what? It's odd that I'm being shunned by the legal community when I was invited to the Federal Judicial Conference for the D.C. Federal Court. So that doesn't feel like being shunned to me, but what do I know?
I was like, oh, they know who Glenn is and they're scared of him. Yes. Yay. I know I have good taste, but So the other thing, of course, the most ridiculous thing that's happened. So it looks like they're going to fail in their efforts to try to have Fani Willis removed or defund her office or all the things, Republicans, a.k.a. Trump's defense team, are trying to do. Now, Jim Jordan is opening an investigation of Fani Willis. And as Ted Lieu, our friend, said, your reminder that Jim Jordan ignored a congressional subpoena. I assume D.A. Willis will follow his example and ignore him. Also, his quote-unquote investigation is stupid. DOJ and FBI agents work with local law enforcement all the time. Totally irrelevant if they did that here or not. Right? I mean, talk to us about that for a minute.
Yeah, let's be clear about what Jim Jordan is doing. This is not just rough and tumble politics, right? This is Jim Jordan serving as an accessory after the fact to Donald Trump's crimes. He's abusing his office and his power and his position to try to impede the criminal investigation and prosecution of Donald Trump that is an accessory after the fact crime as sure as I'm sitting here. Will our system do anything about it? That remains to be seen.
Yeah.